These are some examples of some of the most iconic images of NBA history. Us NBA fans have seen these images so many times that they've essentially been branded onto our brains. These are the moments and images that define the NBA's rich history and define the legacies of some of the greatest players to ever live. With all of this being said, these pictures tell a story that often go deeper than many of us realize. They're more than just cool images, they're encapsulated moments that were the climax of a sequence of events. They're the moments that were immortalized because of the vast and legendary stories they tell. Today, I'm telling you about an iconic image from one of the greatest performances of all time. It's January 22nd, 2006, and the Los Angeles Lakers are preparing for battle with the Toronto Raptors. Just a month before this game had taken place, Kobe had dropped 62 points in only 3 quarters of play against the eventual Western Conference champion, the Dallas Mavericks. According to Dallas's Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe easily could have had 80 that night if he wanted to, and simply played the fourth quarter. At the end of the third quarter of the Dallas game, Kobe's former teammate and assistant coach Bryant encouraged Kobe to go back out there for the fourth quarter and try to get 80 points, a feat that, at the time, no one other than Wilt Chamberlain had ever accomplished. But Kobe told him, "Nah, we're up 30. When the time is right and the team needs it, I'll do it." Which brings us back to January 22nd, 2006. At the time, the talk of the NBA was about a young LeBron James who dropped 51 points on the Jazz the night before, and the talk of the sports world was about the NFL, as both the AFC and NFC championship games were played that morning. But regardless, Kobe was prepared to be the headline story of all of tomorrow's newspapers. Now, January 22nd was actually Kobe's grandfather's birthday, and his grandfather passed away just a few years before this night. Due to this, Kobe's grandmother was looking to do something different that night, and decided to attend Kobe's game at Staples Center. According to Kobe, his grandma had never attended a single game of Kobe's during his NBA career because her nerves couldn't handle it. But this night, she decided to tough it out and witness the first and only professional game of Kobe's that she would ever see. Now, Kobe was very close with his grandmother, and of his family members, he said that he and his grandma probably had the most in common from a personality standpoint. Given how she meant a lot to him, and how she was probably mourning that day without her husband, Kobe wanted to give her a great performance to remember. It wouldn't be easy because the Lakers were heading into that evening with a 21-19 record and had lost 8 of their last 14 games. At this point, as a struggling franchise, the team really needed some optimism or a burst of energy injected back into the organization, and several minutes into the game, it appeared it wasn't coming anytime soon. Kobe was doing what he could to keep the team in the game, scoring in a variety of ways, but Toronto had a very good offense and they had a 7-point lead by the end of the first quarter. The frustrating team play continued for the Lakers, and despite Kobe's 26 points, Toronto was dominating the game, leading by 14 points with momentum completely in their favor.
Welcome back to the Lakers halftime report presented by Jack in the Box, and the purple and gold in danger of losing their third straight game, trailing the Raptors 63-49 at the break. So, Jack, let me ask you this. They're down 14. Is that a deficit that Kobe Bryant alone can overcome?
No, he can't.
You guys know where things go from here. Toronto gets the lead up to 17 before Kobe makes his first strike with just under 11 minutes left in the third quarter, and it was a complete Black Mamba onslaught from that point on. If you watched this game closely or seen Jimmy High Roller's terrific video on this game, then you know that unlike popular belief, it wasn't just Jalen Rose who got torched by Kobe, but really it was the whole team, and first and foremost among them was Morris Peterson. They threw just about every defender and every kind of defense they could at Kobe, but it didn't matter, as he was in the same zone that the Dallas defense had experienced just a month earlier. Kobe had 53 points at the end of the third quarter. At this point in his career, Kobe had got 50 or more points through just 3 quarters of play on 5 separate occasions. But since this game was so close, this was the first and only instance where Kobe would actually play in the fourth quarter. To start the fourth quarter, Kobe missed his first 2 shots, but on the second one, he gets gouged in the eye by Mo Peterson, which wasn't the first time Kobe was hit around the face and it wasn't called. A furious Mamba gave the referee an earful, and he gives him a technical foul as a result. It's almost like you could hear Kobe's thoughts in that moment.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that, and it became personal with me.
Kobe starts up the onslaught again, hitting just about every shot from everywhere on the court. As he continues his fiery shooting, the attention of the game starts drifting away from the scoreboard and towards Kobe's point total. With his 63rd point, he set a new personal career high. With his 72nd point, he passed Elgin Baylor to become the highest scoring Laker in franchise history. With his 79th point, he became the second highest single game scorer in NBA history, and the highest game ever captured on film. At this point, the game was sealed, and there was a couple instances where Phil Jackson could have taken Kobe out of the game, but instead, he kept him in, and from the free throw line, Kobe achieved the iconic number that's become such a staple of his legacy.
And an 81-point game!
He scored 81 points on 28 of 46 shooting, and what's probably even more impressive than the 81 points was his 55 points in the second half alone, which is also the second greatest in NBA history. I'm pretty sure that Kobe's grandmother was very pleased with her first Laker game. In 2016, 10 years after the event took place, former Toronto Raptors coach Sam Mitchell was asked how he felt about Kobe after all these years, and without hesitation, he said, "I hate him." A couple days later, Kobe was told about Mitchell's comment, and he simply laughed it off and sincerely said, "Thank you for the hate. I appreciate that. Truly, I love that." Obviously, the comment from Mitchell was somewhat tongue-in-cheek, considering the fact that Mitchell and Kobe had very respectful and appreciative interactions afterwards. But as far as Mitchell's disgust at the bad memories that Kobe's mere presence gave him, well, I'm pretty sure that's a feeling a lot of competitors had towards Kobe, and not just Mitchell. Let me know in the comments section if you think this is the most impressive scoring performance in NBA history, or would you give that honor to Wilt Chamberlain's 100? Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.